A story from Essex County, New York history may reach audiences far beyond its place of origin. Promised Land, an Adirondack folk opera, relates how people in one northern New York community dealt with laws aimed at reducing the number of African Americans who could legally vote in the time before the Civil War. Voting issues, both then and now, are central to a vibrant democracy in both the Adirondacks and across America. Likewise, an opera that confronts the issues of voting rights should resonate both locally and nationally, according to its composer, Glenn McClure. He's blended local singers of the Northern Lights Choir with artists of national and international renown to make the music soar in performances of this opera in progress. Vocalists from many areas underscore his idea that this Adirondack story could echo across the county, the country, and perhaps even around the world.
Soul's right to breathe.
By including people from the Adirondacks in this process of both the research and the performance, they're telling their own story.
Liberty is the soul's right to breathe.
That's given this community a chance to re-examine its own history. The artistic process allows us to really see where we have come from and where we're going.
We cannot take a long breath. The laws are girded too tight.
The grandeur and the beauty and the passion of opera helps us all to be joyously self-critical.
Let the poor man count as his enemy, his worst enemy. Every invader of the right of free discussion. Disobedience is the true price of liberty. The obedient must be slaves.
There are a lot of people who think they know the Adirondacks, but don't really. All of the history of it, the musical history, the political history of the Adirondacks.
I enjoy this opera and the story because it is so very unique. I like stories that tell a lot about history that's a little bit unknown.
I always felt like the Adirondacks were a wonderful hidden gem for a lot of folks. You know, they come up to enjoy the recreational aspects of it. But this really shows the flip side of this area and why it's so important to our history.
The history of the past is but one long struggle to equality.
The story, Adirondack Folk Opera, is based on the Timbuktu project, where Garrett Smith was bringing black people from Troy, New York, Rochester, maybe as far as Buffalo, into this area, into North Elba, farm land, with the gift of the right to vote.
The folks who are getting a chance to see this opera are not only learning about their region and their history, but I think seeing a great piece of music happening, you know, kind of right before their eyes.
I love learning about history through the arts.
This opera tells a local story of northern New York, but that story reaches out into the biggest questions that face us as an American democracy.
It's a story about African Americans being brought to the Adirondack area by abolitionists who want to ensure that African American men can get a vote. And then there are people who are against this concept because A, they don't necessarily want new people in their community. They don't want African Americans in their community. And it's relevant because it's a story that's still happening today. We have this very same argument with immigration. So it's a story that it's interesting to see history repeating itself.
She hold these truths to be self-evident.
I think anyone can relate to the emotions of all three of these characters, whether it's the people coming, whether it's the people bringing them, or it's the people that don't want them there.
Let me understand. We get 40 acres.
Yes.
Way up in the north.
Yes.
Will they teach us farming?
Yes.
Will they give us tools?
I don't
Will they
know.
give us seeds?
I don't
You
know.
don't know.
I don't know.
Anna Epps, the character that I play in the opera, her plight and what she went through and the sacrifices that she made for her husband, I think relate to what a lot of modern day women still go through and face.
I relate to Lyman because he's a complex character. You've got this wonderful story of a man who is seeking out a new opportunity, and in it allows him to get the vote in a time when men of color just didn't have that luxury, and it also gives him an opportunity to start over with 40 acres and learning a new trade. So it's exciting in the sense of coming to the North and having this great opportunity and getting the vote.
I can only imagine when Lyman goes to Anna and says, hey, we're moving into the wilderness so I can vote. What? So you can what? We're going where? And you know, making that trek and knowing that she really doesn't get anything out of it herself.
We can think about those details, think about them later.
We will think about them now.
He's the man of the family, and so he thinks he has the right to kind of take his wife and children, and she's a very strong character as well, and she says, no, what is the benefit of this for me and our family outside of you getting the vote? Because obviously she doesn't get the vote as a woman. And I think it's fascinating to play a character who's conflicted on so many sides, but is also trying to be a good person.
But don't worry, Anna.
I will worry as I please. Don't tell me that my worries are nothing.
I want the audience to sympathize with her and to see what a generous woman she was to do this for her husband, and for her country, and for those who would, more importantly, come after her and Lyman.
Would you stay home, or would you march, or take your family far away? What would you do when you see injustice?
I think this opera could benefit an audience on a national level because it's a story that most people don't know.
Promised Land. It is such an incredible story. It's historically compelling. It has beautiful music.
Would you put your children at risk for democracy?
I hadn't heard this story, and it sparked interest in me to research, and I hope that that's what the audience will want to do, is find out more about this American story.
Being from America, you have to appreciate this story, you know, and especially in our current political times, I feel it's especially relevant.
It is not just an Adirondack story, and I believe it would have a place anywhere in this country, at the Kennedy Center, at Carnegie Hall.
What will I do? If Lyman is gone, left alone.
Actually, not only people across the country are going to appreciate this story, but you know, people from other countries as well.
Disobedience is the true price of liberty as his enemy.
If this opera were to get broader exposure across the country, clearly the Adirondacks would be put on the map as not only a place of sports and recreation, but a place that has wrestled with questions like voting rights, questions like racial equality, questions like the role of women, and so I think it's a great opportunity for us to tell our story.
For more information about Promised Land and Adirondack Folk Opera, including supplementary interviews, head to mountainlake.org/folkopera.
Spotlight is supported by the Glenn and Carol Pearsall Adirondack Foundation, dedicated to improving the quality of life for year-round residents of the Adirondack Park. This project is also supported in part by the National Endowment for the Arts on the web at arts.gov.